being shortchanged by laws designed to protect them. What's wrong with industrial homework? You should know. It's your business.
From Washington, D.C., the United States Chamber of Commerce presents It's Your Business, a weekly series of debates on vital issues affecting you. And now the moderator of It's Your Business, Meryl Comer.
Welcome. There's no place like home. I'll say it again, there's no place like home. That's the message of a number of women who want to work at home while raising their families. But it hasn't worked out that way for a group of women in Vermont trying to get around a 40-year-old ban that prohibits industrial homework. At issue, industrial homework, why not? My guest, Senator Orrin, Republican of Utah, chairman of the Senate Labor and Human Resources Committee. Senator Hatch, is the woman who chooses to work at home hurting anyone?
Boy, I don't think so. I think that she actually can benefit herself and her family, and in the process, women in general across this country. So I think it's really a kind of a false issue.
Thank you. Also joining us, Don Elisburg, former Assistant Secretary of Labor under Carter. Mr. Elisburg, is a federal ban on industrial homework necessary?
In the traditional sweatshop industries, the case is clear that exploitation of workers, particularly women workers, hasn't changed in the last 50 years. So for them, I say the answer is yes.
Representing business, Dr. Richard Lesher, President of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Dr. Lesher, does industrial homework amount to unfair competition in the marketplace?
It certainly does not. Industrial homework is to the benefit of the worker, the employer, the taxpayer, and the consumer. Now, how can you beat that?
Our final guest, Max Zimny, General Counsel for the International Ladies Garment Workers Union. Mr. Zimny, if women prefer to work at home, why should the unions care?
Because lifting the restriction on industrial homework in such industries as apparel turns America back to the dark ages of industrial humanity, and the evidence to that effect is overwhelming.
When we continue our debate, stay with us. When we talk about industrial homework, keep in mind that there are no employee benefits like paid holidays, vacations, health and welfare protection. But the women knitters in Vermont had no complaints. Their work was safe, convenient, and they earned more than $3.35 minimum wage. As you can see, this brand of homework is not exactly a knit and purl operation, but even so, why all the fuss? In 1981, the Labor Department granted the knitters an exemption from a 1940 ban on industrial homework. The decision last month by the Court of Appeals to reinstate the ban not only affects those several hundred women in Vermont, but also blocks efforts by the Labor Department to lift similar bans that prohibit homework in 6 other industries, manufacturing women's clothing and jewelry. The symbolic issues that get tangled in this debate are individual rights, free enterprise versus regulation designed to protect workers from abuse. This is 1984. Mr. Zimny, why all the talk of sweatshops? They were banned in 1940. Why do you make that comparison with industrial homework today?
Because sweatshops today are probably worse than they were in 1942 when the ban went into effect. We are today confronted by a huge amount of undocumented aliens, upwards of 10 million such people. We have a huge underground economy, and we find that the sweatshop problem has returned with a vengeance. Indeed, the Secretary of Labor, the current Secretary of Labor, one of his first acts in official office was to visit the New York area to deplore sweatshops in Chinatown.
Senator
Meryl,
Hatch,
could I just add a note to your opening commentary there about the knitters in Vermont? You said they earn in excess of $3.35 minimum wage. Well, according to the numbers I've seen, they were averaging about $8 an hour. That's pretty good. That's not sweatshop. They were working by their fireplace in their home, and they want to keep those jobs and tend to their families, take care of the children, see the children when they come home from school. Everything you've said, you know, is going backwards into the dark ages. We need to look forward. We need to give women a chance to work and to raise their family at the same time.
Mr. Elisburg, the point that comes up is whether we're really talking about piecework. Are these women getting paid for piecework?
Well, the answer is frequently not. And while all the focus was on these women who said they wanted to work up in Vermont. The fact of the matter was that the Department of Labor was doing an investigation of these very businesses in Vermont and finding some $40,000 in back wages due to these very women working in their homes because they weren't being paid the minimum wage at this piecework basis.
Senator Hatch, is this issue being overstated? I mean, homework has traditionally been limited to the elderly and disabled who couldn't get out of the house. Are we going to lose a valuable work option for women if a ban like this stays in effect?
I think women are rightly up in arms about it, and especially women in the home. We have almost every pressure in our society today trying to push women out of the home into the workplace. You know, I don't know anybody who wants to stand up for sweatshops.